Hello neighbors and howdy do. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to look at an intermediate style lesson that's going to get us in good stead to welcome everyone to join the Noya Mountain Music Monthly Workshop, which is going to be June 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And it'll be interactive. We'll cover a lot of material. Today we're going to look at kickoffs, endings, and a little bit of double stop melody plan. Okay? So there is a video that's all on kickoffs. You can check that out here. But it's really important to understand the chord tones of the key you're working with. Okay, so we're talking about the arpeggio mostly. All right, so I'm just gonna assume that you know the arpeggio. 1, 3, 5, 1, all that stuff is really important and essential. Okay, so thinking about how to pair this with your internal repertoire practice. You have to be able to know how to kick off Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and This Little Light of Mine. The reason I point to those is because each of those starts on a different chord tone. In the key of G, Mary had a little lamb, major third there. All right? So your rule of thumb with the kickoffs is going to be and a 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3. And a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's really simple. And a 4 and. You can simplify that even further by just going and 4 and. To kind of get that little shuffle there and down, up, down, down. Get that shuffle in there. And then your kickoff note, of course, is going to be your downbeat, the chord tone of the major third, in this case for Mary Had a Little Lamb. So most of your songs are going to kick off on the 1, the 3, or the 5. So Mary Had a Lamb, of course, major third there. So 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and just simple as that. Okay? Be able to transpose that, of course, to the key of A. And how do we even figure out how to do that kickoff right there? Okay, so in this case, we're going to be in the key of G, back to key of G. We're going to be starting up on the low 5, the open D, and we're going to make a little transition up to the 1 note through the 6th note, the 2nd fret of the D there, the E note, to get to your downbeat there. All right, so in the key of A, rule of thumb, everything just comes up 2 frets. So open D becomes the 2nd fret of the D. All right, and then your 6 is going to be the 4th fret of the D. So 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, just like that, simple as pie. Back to the key of G, looking at your double stops, your jump off, 51, 5 and a 1, 7th fret of the G, 5th fret of the D, that's our jump off, 5 and a 1. So same kind of deal, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that'd be your kickoff for I'll Fly Away. Or Head Over Heels. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. Just remember to go down, up, down, down. If you're in that closed position there, it's the same as down, up, down, down in the open position. Okay? Same thing, key of A, just 2 frets higher, 9 and 7. Or start on your 2nd fret of the D. It's simple stuff. So let's look at another song. Let's look at Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You gotta be able to kick the easy stuff off. All right, so twinkle, twinkle. We know it starts on the 1. So if we're going to do our and a 4 and, how would that work? You could walk it up like 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and. It's right up your scale. And a 2, 4, 5. All right. So we want to do that up the neck. Same thing, key of A, starting on your 2nd fret of the D. Just walk right up your scale. Okay, let's move on to a different interval. Okay, let's move on to the 5. All right, so This Little Light of Mine, also the same melody as Worried Man Blues and Do Lord. It's going to sound something like this. This little light of mine starts on the 5. So how do we connect that to our pickup notes, which are usually going to be lower? You could do something coming from higher. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1, or simplifying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. You can walk it up chromatically. That's another good way to do it. So starting on your arpeggio note underneath your target note, which is going to be your open D. That's your downbeat. Starting your major third, 4th fret of the D. And you can go and a 4 and 1. This is a chromatic kickoff. 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, 4, 4, 5, 6, open D. All right, if you're gonna transpose that to the key of A. But before we do, please like and subscribe. And go ahead and hit that little bell there for the notifications, and you'll get all the good stuff from Noya Mountain Music. Thank you. And please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. Your arpeggio note underneath your target note is going to be the 6th fret of the G, C sharp note there. So and a 4 and 1. Again, it's chromatic. So 6th fret of the G, open D, 1st fret of the D, 2nd fret of the D. Too easy. You could do that up here if you wanted to, starting from the 6th fret of the G, walk it up chromatically. Making sure you know how to do your fingers there. 1st fret on the 6th fret, then middle finger on the 7th fret. Slide that up to the 8th fret. And one more for the 9th fret for your target note. Too easy. Okay, so what about like, will the circle be unbroken? That's starting on the 1. You got to know where you're starting. Okay. Will the circle... Okay, so it's got those pickup notes now with the melody. Will the circle... So with the count, if you're going to walk that up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So again, you're starting on the arpeggio note underneath your target note. All right, got to know those arpeggios. That's your downbeat, 5th fret of the D. Okay, so you walk up and a 4 and 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1. Just like that. Okay, again, you could do it up an A. You could do it chromatically, but it's not quite as good. So start on your 7th fret of the G. Okay, remember to be able to transpose that to A, of course. In A, it's nice to be able to slide into your A note in resonance with the open A. And you don't have to always hold your 7th fret of the D down there with your ring finger. Just do your slide with your ring finger and then you get to the open A. So you're always resetting with that kickoff for your halfway through point, at least a lot of the time. Okay, let's talk about endings. All right, so many of our fiddle tunes are going to be in the key of A. You know, Old Joe Clark, Salt Creek, Red Haired Boy, that kind of stuff. All right, so when you get done playing your melody, for instance, Old Joe Clark, B part. Gotta have an ending. So the simplest pi one to do would sound like this. So you're gonna have 2 16th notes in the modern count to the downbeat of your ending. Get done playing the B part. 3 and a 4 and a 1. So you'll have 2 16th notes on the 5th fret of the E, and then your downbeat will start here. So you're descending from the 5th fret of the E. You're not playing the 4th fret of your scale, but you'll play all the rest of the scale notes in that octave. 2nd fret of the E, open E, walk it down the scale. 5, 4, 2, open. That's the first part. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's the first bar of your ending, and then it'll continue. So the second bar of your ending is going to sound like this. Again, it's going to have 2 16th note pickups to the last bar of the ending. It's going to be O, 2, 4. That's going to be down, up, down. And then from there, 2nd fret, open, 4th fret of the D, 2nd fret, and then 6th fret of the G, 2nd fret. All right. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the whole ending sounds like this. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So say you want to spruce that up a little bit to do more intermediate style. All right, running 16th notes there. And a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So now your pickup notes to the downbeat are going to be open, the 4th fret of the E, and here's your downbeat. 5, 4, 5, open, that's your first beat. 1 E and a, here's your second beat. 2 E So 2nd fret of the E, 5th fret, open E, 5th fret of the A with your upstroke. So you got 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So get that much right there with your pickup notes. And a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Here's your 3rd beat. 3 E and a. So that's gonna be like a little folded thing from your folded scale. 4th fret of the A, open A, then 2, 4. All right, those are our first 3 beats. And a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and then you're down to the open A, 4. That's gonna be a long 8th note. And then here's your 2nd half. You can do many different things. Let's go after that. All right. So we're gonna have 2 16th note pickup notes, open A, 2nd fret of the A, and here's your downbeat of the 2nd bar. 4, open E, then 4, 2, open. That's your 1st beat. 1 E and a to the 2nd beat, 2. All right. 1 E and a 2 from that open A in the context. 2 E and a. So open A, 4th fret of the D, then 2, 4, 2, 4. All right, so here's what we got. And a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Here's your 3rd beat. 3 E and a. That's 2nd fret of the D, then 6, 4, 6 on the G string. Start with an upstroke. 6, 4, 6, and ending on the 2nd fret of the G. All right. And a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So the whole complicated intermediate level ending lick sounds like this. All right, with the count 1, 2, go. And a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Okay, so it's important to have that in A, and of course D for your Soldier's Joy and all of the ones you play in D. Basically the same thing, just up one set of strings. All that's the same, fret-wise and finger-wise, as it was in A. The 2nd part will start out the same. Since we don't have a string lower, we'll have to do something different. So we'll walk up the G string, 2, 4, 6, hit the upstroke on the 2nd fret of the D, and then open D. All right? So the whole thing. Also important to do something like this in the key of G. I'm gonna do it super simple. All right, just go with the simple if the note path is too complicated. Do something like that, but just to keep it simple, you can even just do 3 notes on the 3rd fret of the E. All right. Also important to be able to do that in a closed position. But how many fiddle tunes are in the key of B? So if you get it in A, get it in D, get it in G, find out something in C. On all those druthers. Okay, let's talk a little bit as we're closing out on melody double stops. So this is the key, crucial component of intermediate level mandolin. So you got to be able to play Your Eye Saw the Lights, I'll Fly Away, you know, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, definitely Coming Around the Mountain with good double stops. So being able to just even do those first 3 notes in the scale in harmony is really important, because you're going to be following your ear to all the good melodies, just now harmonizing them. So being able to harmonize your one note, 1, 2, 3, as you're walking up the scale on the D and the A strings, 5 and 2, 7 and 3, and then 9 and 5, super important. Okay. So getting to know the double stop scale in G and an A, just 2 frets higher, basically, is super duper important. One great tune for that, of course, is going to be You Are My Sunshine. This part is really hard. Being able to harmonize that simple melody is a foundation of intermediate level mandolin. Walking it up, making that transition from the 10th fret of the D, 7th fret of the A, up to the 7th fret of the A, 3rd fret of the E, not so easy. And then getting down, this is stuff that you've really got to spend some time on. It's super important. Your twinkle twinkle in double stops. So if you can't do that, very important to practice it. Just even going up those 4 notes and right back down with your tremolo. So to be able to find those double stops for your simple melodies is the key. Twinkle, twinkle. You gotta know those arpeggios. So whatever your melody note is, it's just gonna be your next arpeggio note up. Right there, that's your 1 and the 3. Twinkle, then to your 51, 5 and a 1. Twinkle. And then your melody note goes up to the E, but now you're in the chord of C, so your harmony note on top is going to be the high G. Back to your 51 and G, and walking it down the scale. This is the 4th note in harmony, 3rd note, 2nd note, and 1st note. All right, and then you're to the 2nd line. You get to know that feel of sliding into that 4th note in the G scale with harmony. Super important. Even your Mary Had a Little Lambs. If you can't do that stuff easily, then it's going to be a lot harder to do your standard bluegrass material. You got to do it. It's the old song and dance. All right. So that's the lesson here today. We've got our kickoffs and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Whatever it is, you got to be able to kick off I Saw the Light. How's it even go? I wondered so aimless. You got to figure out what that first note is, though. The downbeat. I wondered. And then you got your options. You do your chromatic walk up, or just simple. Starting the melody on the 5, starting the melody on the 1, circle be unbroken. Will the circle and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1. That halfway point, your kickoff notes start again there. And yes, so we got our 1, our 3, and our 5 kickoffs in G, transposing that to A, down the road into B flat. You got to get G and A just to start off with. And then we got our endings. Got to get your old Joe Clark beginning, your taters. All the way to the end. How you do those will go a long way with defining what your style is. And that's fun. Get your creativity involved, follow your ear, and trust yourself, and don't be afraid to make a big mistake. That's what David Greer says, the great guitar flat picker. If you're gonna make a mistake, make a big one, and also learn happy birthday, of course. So that's the lesson. If you liked it, hit that old like button, leave us a comment, tell us what you're connecting with, what you'd like to see more of. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification for, when we're bringing out something new, we'll get to you, premieres and all that stuff. Okay, so if you want to support this work that we're doing here, please think about becoming a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. Many muchas gracias to everyone who is helping us on Patreon, making this work possible, and we love to bring it to you every week. So think about the workshop, June 29th, 4 to 6 p.m., and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.